Hello, and welcome to what is effectively the first episode of something brand new, something that I hope lasts. But yeah, welcome to the very first episode of Baat Kardi. My name is Abbas. I am 25 years old. I am currently a master's student studying in the University of Cardiff in Wales. And yeah, welcome. So, the idea behind this series is it essentially is supposed to work as a spiritual successor to my very first podcast, which was Project Manchala. The idea for Project Manchala was literally the name broken down into two segments. Manchala in Urdu basically means someone who is a little lost, not really focused, and their mind really wanders. So I took the two pieces of the word man, meaning mind, and chala, meaning walk, and literally broke them down into mind walking. And to me, that basically symbolized allowing the mind to wander and think and really just come to its own narrative, come to its own conclusions, and really just do its own thing. Um, so, Baat Kardi for me is a spiritual successor in the sense that I really just wanted to get back to a position where I could really keep talking and I could keep telling stories. And I, I don't know, I just wanted to have this sort of space to be able to be me, I suppose. And I'm hoping that you guys will tune in for the ride because sometimes it's just going to be me. Sometimes I might have some guests on board. But the basic gist is I want this to be a space where I share my thoughts, my concerns, my stories, things that are going on in my life with you guys. And hopefully you'll be able to step away from this and go like, damn, he really said something, you know? He really has something worth listening to, i.e. Baat Kardi. So, this first episode is basically going to be about this transitioning phase in my life. Um, I moved here to Cardiff almost 2 months to the date now. I moved here on the 19th of September 2025. It is the night of the 14th of November as I'm recording this. So, Masters was something that I wasn't really ever planned. I mean, not planned, but it was basically something that I was never really sure of. Before masters, I've been working for 2.5 years as an advocate. I have a background in law. I did my degree from the University of London. While I was in Pakistan, I was studying at TMUC Karachi, which is now MITE, and it was basically the external program that the University of London offers. So I did my law degree, and then I was working in a law firm for the last 2.5 years. And my family had really been pushing me to go for my master's and really just start this next phase of life, but I wasn't really too sure about it because law school had been quite rough for me. COVID basically hit right as my first year was getting on the go. So I spent my first year during COVID. I spent my second year in COVID. My third year, things started getting a little bit better. People were getting vaccinated, and we can finally go back and start having in-person classes and not be super worried about maintaining distance with each other. We were still masked up to a degree, but we didn't need to be as cautious as we initially were. But yeah, shifting online and having online examinations and things really didn't go my way, unfortunately. But such is life, and we persevere. But law school for me was just a little tricky. Things didn't go my way. Things were rough, and the experience overall just led me feeling very disheartened and very dejected. I was super worried about what the future might entail, and it really put me off academia for quite some time. So I'd been putting off the idea for masters for basically the last 2 years, I guess. And basically, at the start of this application cycle, I told myself, okay, I'm at least going to give myself the opportunity to see where the chips fall. And based on that, I'll make my decision. So when it came time to get applications, I applied to a bunch of different places. So I also applied for multiple different um, programs. I applied for an LLM, very obviously. I applied for the specific and for basic. So specific meaning I applied for specific disciplines, so like criminal, tort, so on and so forth. And then I also applied for like a general LLM. Um, and then I also applied for this thing called the bar vocational course, which is basically a educational track that you need to take in the United Kingdom to be able to practice law as a barrister. And then I also took another similar thing called the solicitor's qualifying examination, which is a thing that you need to become a solicitor to practice the law in the UK. So, just fun fact, those are not the same thing. In the UK, if you are an advocate, you can either be a solicitor or you can be a barrister, and you can technically be both as well, not that you need to be. But yeah, the basic difference is a barrister goes to court and then a solicitor handles things outside court. Pretty simple. Anyways, so I applied for all these different disciplines and I got in, surprisingly, to all of them. But for quite some time, I had really found it difficult to really get entrenched into law, whether it be how law school had gone, whether it just be the fact that something just wasn't clicking. I took a gamble and I also applied for business school. I applied for marketing and digital marketing in a couple of places and I actually got in as well. And then I also just, for some reason, took a shot in the dark. I was on the Cardiff University website and I don't even remember what happened, honestly. But I thought that for some reason they didn't offer marketing or digital marketing. And so I saw the next best thing, which is the program I'm currently studying. And I was like, okay, you know what? This kind of looks nice and it makes sense. So let's go for it. And dear listener or viewer, depending on where you are, that program was the Business Strategy and Entrepreneurship Master's Program. And it really seems funny in hindsight, but I don't really know how things came together this way, because after I got my acceptance from the university, I actually went back to the website and I noticed that they do have a marketing program. I'm not sure what happened there, to be completely honest with you. I'm not sure if I just missed it. I'm not sure if I saw it and it didn't make sense to me at the time or something. I'm really not sure what happened, to be completely honest with you. I just remember that I saw this program and I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. You know, this is something that I could possibly do. And I applied and I got in, and, you know, as they say, the rest is history. So it, to me, is just another emphasis on the fact that we as humans really try to plan things down to the minute most detail. We really try to have things go according to some amazing plan. But when it comes down to the things that are meant to happen, they really kind of just happen on their own without too much intervention from our part. And whether you want to call it God, whether you want to call it fate, whether you want to call it destiny, whatever you want to call it, I am a very, very firm believer that things are meant to happen a certain way. We can either help things happen in that capacity, or we can, just keep fighting them and letting them take their own due course. And I think I did a little bit of both. I did definitely fight back against this decision. I definitely really took my time screaming, clawing, throwing up. But, you know, things really do take their own course when they want to, and you can't really do anything about it. So I'm leaving this up to the higher power, and I'm going to say, whatever is to come shall come. And I will try to take it with open arms and hope for the absolute best. Because we just get the one life, right? We just have this one moment to actually do everything, whether it be all the good you can do to the world, all the mistakes you can make in this world. It's just this one moment, and you can't really. I mean, to me, it just comes down to the fact that whatever your beliefs are for a life hereafter, that is not going to be the same thing this is. The person you are in whatever life is there after this, that's going to be this perfect idealized version of you. It's not going to be this raw human, probably often very broken version. And I think as humans, that is one of the most amazing aspects of us. So whatever mistakes I make in this life, whatever times I don't live up to some apparent potential I have, I want to at least live it knowing that I give it my absolute all, because I have spent too much of my life living in fear, living in doubt, living in concerns of, what is, what isn't, what will be. And really that didn't help anyone, least of all me. So while I have this life, while I have this time, I want to give things a shot. What's the worst that'll happen? Don't ask me that, because I'll actually start thinking what's the worst that'll happen. But, you know, it's life, you know? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But the one thing that you always have to keep making sure of is that, especially when it doesn't work out, you keep trying and you keep getting back up to it. I had the idea for this podcast a couple of days ago, but I wasn't really sure if I was going to do it. And like most of my creative pursuits, it just started gnawing at me one day, and I was like, you know what? I have to do this. Like I don't know what it is about this, but something is calling me, and there's this feeling inside me that is just it's really eating me up. If I'm not gonna do this, I'm gonna keep thinking about it. So I have to do this. And it may not be the best, it may not be the most polished, it may not be the best podcast that's out there right now. But for this one moment, this one Friday night, I'm gonna be able to tell myself, I wanted to do this and I did it. And it doesn't matter if 10 people are listening right now. It doesn't matter if there are 10,000 people listening right now. But it would be really cool if there's 10,000 people listening right now. But all that matters is that you did it. And that's the philosophy I have tried to live my life with, even the times where I didn't really believe in it. That when art, or really anything, calls you from within, it is your solemn duty to see that through and really just listen to that voice. I am very blessed and very fortunate to be able to live the life that I live. I'm very fortunate to be able to be within the means to do the things I do. And I am very, very privileged to be able to say that I wanted to do something and I did it. So if you have the means, if you have the ability, do the thing. Do it sad, do it scared, do it afraid, do it bad. Just honestly, like I really wish I could share the feeling I get when I finish a creative project with people who might be listening or watching this and feeling skeptical and unsure about themselves or whatever they're planning, because it's this insane high that I get that can honestly last me anywhere from an entire day to a week. It's this accomplishment that you really can't share with anyone because you know that no one else will be able to see what you did from your own lens. So, for those of you who don't know, apart from law, I actually have a background as a professional photographer and as an indie filmmaker. Um, I have been making short films since 2019. My very first short film was not really a short film, but an opening sequence for a short film that I still hope to make someday. Um, OG viewers and listeners know what I'm talking about. Um, and to me, filmmaking has been something that's been a part of my life for a very, very long time. I just didn't realize what it was. I grew up watching YouTube. I grew up watching all these amazing people making skits, having fun, doing stupid things. And I kept thinking to myself, I was like, damn, I really want to do this, you know? And it really was something that I couldn't shake. And I thought, maybe someday, maybe someday, maybe someday. And that someday never really came until I was doing my A levels and I had the chance to study media. And whether things just aligned at the perfect opportunity and the perfect time, that's when things really started, you know? And even though I've been super infrequent, I seldom post on YouTube and I keep disappearing from all my social media on and off, there will always be that feeling within me, that little kid who still wishes one day to grow up and be a YouTuber. And while the scope and landscape of YouTube has changed more than I can even fathom since I was a child, at some level, I do hope that my creative pursuits can one day get to a point where rather than just being something I do when I have the time, when I have the capacity, it is something I make the time and I make the capacity to do because to me, this is what gives me joy. It gives me fulfillment in life. And I mean it very sincerely when I say that I am now thankfully in a position where I'm not necessarily chasing numbers. Numbers would be great, numbers would be wonderful, numbers would make me proud that my work is reaching more people and more people are either reflecting on it, watching it because they like it, or just, something clicked. But I'm not doing it for that anymore. I'm doing it because I want to. So if you're here now by some luck of the algorithm, or because you've been following me since day one, or because someone really pushed you to give me a shot, thank you for being here. I don't really know if this series is going to have a very thought out premise or a very thought out structure or really any consistency to it, but I will promise you one thing, that every time I come here, every time I'm in front of you, every time you're listening to me, I will give you as genuine a version of me as I can, because this is me putting myself out there onto the ethos of the internet, and I'm just here and I'm just trying to tell some stories. So if this has resonated with you and you would like to follow along and tune in for more stories, please feel free to like, subscribe, and if you think there's someone else out there who could really benefit from hearing this, please do share this with them, because you never know where life is going to take you. Things may seem okay right now, things may seem good, but there's no guarantee that things will remain good, that things will stay okay. Do the thing that you're scared of doing. Do the thing that you've been thinking about for the last couple of months but just haven't had the time to. Do the thing that you really, really want to, but you're worried that it's not going to do well. Who gives a shit, dude? Like, really? Life can be really stupid, right? Can be really sad. Life can be really harsh. Life can be really, really painful. But life can also be beautiful. Life can also be really happy. Life can be really, really warm. And life can be really, really fulfilling. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what your circumstances are. I don't know what's led you here. But I hope that wherever life takes us, I hope that we can carry that journey forward together. Because one thing I've learned is that life is always better when you have people to share the burden with. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next time. Take care.